What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I feel like recently that's been like, at least like in the social media news, like I know they were going off on David Dobrik about this stuff, going off on James Charles. Who else has been going off? I think there's like these two brothers that's been facing a lot of heat for it. But talking to underage people, now that's something where I just never understood why people did it. I think I was talking about it in the podcast, or not in the podcast, but in the live stream, not too long ago. Like, yo, why can't you guys like not talk to? Like, my thing is like, okay, if you don't know the person's age, like they didn't tell you, then I'm like, okay, that's something that you should determine like from the jump. But you know, like before you got into a like romantic situation with this person, whether you're talking, dating, in a relationship, whatever, you know. But you should figure out how old this person is before you just start, you know, talking with them and sending them nudes. And because James Charles, that's what happened to him. Was talking to this guy, started sending him nudes, and then the guy later on came out and said, hey, I'm underage, and he sent me photos and stuff. But that guy, it was kind of a setup, because I'm like, yo, that guy could have told you, could have just been honest and told James Charles, oh, I'm actually, I think the kid or whoever he is like 16 years old. And it's like, you could have just told him that from the jump. But instead, you lied and then waited for him to send you these photos and all these, you know, text messages or whatever. And now he's getting caught up in a situation where people are like, how do you keep getting caught up in situations where you're talking to underage people? Now James Charles looks bad, and people thinking that he's some sort of like weirdo or something. And it's like, I'm pretty sure that it's not his intentions, but like, you know, you don't really know what this man's doing behind doors. But I'm just saying, like, to me, that's just kind of, you know, messed up that people do that. But it's also like, you know, I can't leave just James Charles out of the equation and stuff. Like, nah, fam, like, you gotta do some more research when you're, you know, talking to people online. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, in times like this, like, talking to underage people is a serious, like, situation. Like, you know, you can't just, it's just something that you can't just get away with. Like, maybe back in like the early years of our lives, like, yeah, stuff like that didn't really, you know, it wasn't as big as it is today. Like today, like that stuff is like, you know, if it's like for the slightest like details of that type of stuff happening, oh, it's gonna get blown up. It is going to get blown up. So that's why it's like, this episode is to pretty much tell y'all, like, you know, overall telling some stories, and then telling you guys like how to avoid this type of stuff. Because I know David Dobrik and some of his friends, I know Dom is getting caught up in this situation. David Dobrik, I don't think David Dobrik himself was talking to underage people, but I think he was more so protecting the people that was talking to underage people. I think that's like the whole narrative with this story. James Charles, and then there's these like two brothers where it's like I think it was the oldest brother that got caught up in it, then the youngest brother, he got caught up in it. And I'm like, bro, like, why can't you guys like not go out on like a Tinder, freaking Bumble, or any of these dating websites and just find people your age, especially if you live like in Cali. I feel like Cali is like probably the most active spot for like Tinder and Bumble and dating and all that stuff. And that was like one of the things that one of my supporters had told me about Cali is like, you know, you can't find love in Cali. And I'm like, dang, that's sad. But it's like, why can't you guys find people like the same age as you or around the same ages? And it's like, if you don't know like how to like figure that stuff out, like, okay, so let's say if it's like, you know, you found this person throughout COVID, so you can't really like meet up with them and you don't know too much about them, catfish. Like, not saying like catfish the person, but watch how they do things on catfish. These guys be literally looking up multiple profiles on all these different like websites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that crap. And so my thing is like, look, it's okay. Like, if you just wanting to play it safe and make sure that you ain't talking to somebody under the age, like, it is perfectly fine to stalk a person's social media accounts to overall see like, you know, what they doing. Like, are they going to bars like late at night, or are they going to school early in the morning? Like I'm saying, like, you know, in a situation like that, like, yes, it's, if you don't know, it is perfectly fine to stalk a person's social media accounts. And I know people are gonna be like, oh, that's kind of weird to stalk that. No, it's not. It's okay. My thing is like, what's more weirder, trying to figure out their age or dating them while they're underage? I'm trying to figure out their age. I'm like, no, my thing is, and I'm 24 years old. So I'm well over the age to drink. I'm well over the age to do whatever I feel like doing. So like in a situation where if it's like not like COVID, and you know, and I can meet up with this girl like face to face and things, I'm like, okay, well then, you know what, let's do something that adults can do. So I'm like, my thing is like, look, if you 20, I'm sorry, but I'm like, I can't, you know, it's gonna be like a very like untrusting situation. I'll talk with you and all that crap, but it's gonna be just untrusting at times because I'm like, I don't really know for sure. But I'm like, if it's been proven, like you done showed me a high school graduation photo, you done showed me your, like, you know, your 18th birthday from 2 years ago, like, and now like you 20 and everybody around me has confirmed like, yes, she is 20 years old. Then I'm like, oh, okay, well then we good then. I'm like, but 21, then I'm like, okay, you know, we in the clear. Like we can go to a bar, drink, we could go to a club, turn up, we could go to literally do anything 18 plus and have fun. And I'm like, okay, then that's how I know that this girl is like, she's over the age. But I'm like, my thing is like, yeah, that's one thing to like make sure of, is like make sure that they can do things that's like 21 and up. Like, you know, if she can go into a store and like, you know, put it to the test. See, because I think, what's the age limit to buy like vape pens? I'm like, even if she doesn't vape, just like still put it to the test anyways and things, and see like what happens if she gets carded and stuff. But you know, but yeah, if it's like, but if you know, like, that's like going back to the internet stuff where it's like, okay, how to figure out that stuff. So yeah, go to her tagged photos, look at some of her followers. I know they're probably if you following somebody, if you're talking to somebody and they're following nobody and they have no followers, it's most likely one of those scam accounts, and they're probably just trying to like hack your social media information. And you know, now you're you know, out here sending photos or sending out messages to people talking about, hey, sexy photos, click this link. You don't want that to happen to you. So anyways, but no, like, go check their followers, see who they're following, see overall, like, oh, okay, like, let me click on this profile, they look like somebody that they're friends with, and then see how old they are, if you can't really determine. So my thing is like, oh, if they're posting photos like, celebrate my 25th birthday, I'm at this bar drinking, here's a video of me standing up on the table dancing, but then I done fell off the table and now I broke my leg in 3 different places. Okay, maybe not like that far, but I'm just saying, as an example, as an example, if you can find that stuff and see that that person is over the age, then it's like, oh, well then here's somebody. But that could be like a cousin, that could be like a family member or something. So if you talking to a white girl, see if she's following any black people where you can follow, where you can like follow, or not follow, but overall see like who she's following. And you know, see, just see and ask that, or not ask, but look at the ages for all her black friends, and then other way around, if she's black, see all her white friends and see. But if it's like, if she's only following, if it's a white girl following just only white people, something might be wrong with that situation there. Like you might be waking up one day and then next thing you know, she got these like outfits and she's like, come on, we going over to these black people's house so we can burn things in their front yard. That's when I'm like, you forget the age, you're dating somebody that's in the KKK. Like, nah, that's like, that's almost as worse. Like that's both of them things is like roughly the same. You don't want to get caught dating either. Cause I know I'll never forget when my friend he was dating a girl. She was like a Colin Kaepernick hater. She didn't like the fact that he was kneeling. Man, I keep hearing like these FedEx trucks, bro, and I'm like, I don't know whether it's yeah, all right, you know, cause I'm like, I'm waiting for a package to come in, and I don't know for sure if it came in or not. I haven't heard nothing, and every time I refresh the page, it just keeps saying the same thing. And so, but anyways, but yeah, like, but no, like, back to my friend, like, he was dating somebody that he said that she was mad at the fact that he was kneeling during the games. I'm like, well, he's doing it for a reason. I mean, you know, he ain't doing it just to, you know, like show out, or, you know, like overall cause attention to himself. Like, he's doing it because there was like of a reason, like, you know, Black Lives Matter and all that crap. But Yeah, he said he ended that relationship where well, they wasn't really in a relationship. They were just, I think, because he had met her through Tinder, and so they were going out on their first date. And then I was like, oh, bro, I was like, that's what I really wanted to do. I'm like, man, please just set up I'm like, I will find the girl but I'm like, I ain't even gonna be like, like we ain't gonna be going on a date. I just want to make this girl upset. Oh, I was, if he said that he's ready to do it, I would have messaged every single girl. I'm like, hey, if you want to see me put on a show, if you want to see me at my funniest peak possible, please just go out. Like, it ain't even gotta be like a real legitimate date. We could just be two friends hanging out, but I just need, so it ain't like some third wheeling crap, but I just need you, like, for a moment. If you want to go on a real date, we very well can do that. But I just need to go out on this, like, double date. But I'm going to be wearing a Colin Kaepernick jersey. And I'm going to just be saying how I love Colin Kaepernick so much just so I can make this girl upset. All right, so we just need to do this one thing. But anyways, no, back on the main objective of this, podcast episode. But no, like, but like if you can't find out like who she's following, that's another thing. That's something that I've done where it's all like, if I don't know the person's age, then I'm like, and it ain't even the person, it could just be somebody, because I really don't talk to a whole lot of like underage people. Even if it's like, if it's like a fan of mine, then okay, then it's just, a YouTuber talking to a fan. That's it. But like if I'm like scrolling through TikTok, because I know there's like a lot of like teenagers on TikTok and stuff, I feel even weird like in the teenagers like videos and stuff on TikTok. So that's why I'm like, yo, like if I'm not like for certain, I'm like, it's literally like if it's like a girl, it's like, okay, yeah, you can clearly see she's over the age. It's like that girl got more gray hairs than Tweety Bird's grandmother. Then it's like, okay, well, it's like that she's over the age. But if you ain't for sure, that's one thing. I'm gonna like swipe over the profile. If you see like anything under the age of 18, then I'm like, unlike it, keep it scrolling, and move on or something. I only like it if it's like a comedy photo or a comedy video, but if it's one of those videos where it's like the girl, like, she's trying to be like, oh, like sexual in the video or something, like, I don't know, she's just overall doing some dumb stuff. Half the videos on TikTok don't be making sense half of the time, but anyways, if she's posting like a video where she's like showing off her body and things, I'm like, okay, well then let me just make sure real quick, and then I'm like, oh yeah, let me keep it scrolling, cause nah. I'm all like, TikTok will have that happen. And I'm like, dang, fam, like, y'all need to like do something about that. Cause I'm like, it's just kind of weird how there be like 16, 17-year-old kids up on there acting like that. I'm like, man, the day I have kids, I'm like, or the day I at least have a daughter or son, whoever, I'm like, I hope y'all ain't doing that while y'all like under the age and stuff. Cause I'm like, that's just weird. So, but I'm like, that's another thing though. It's like when this stuff be happening, like when you hear a situation where, for an example, James Charles, when he got caught up talking with them like teenagers, where's the parents? Like that's another thing. Like when if you're really like interested in this girl or guy, whoever, if you're really interested in this person, and you're trying to like figure out their age, if they're parents, then that's probably like the key thing right there, is to like figure out like, hey, asking the parents. Because I'm like, if you really want to play it safe, ask the parents. Like, because my thing is like, look, it would be if you guys like bring that up to the parent, like it would just be weird for me to date your child and knowing like and it's like they're underage. It's more weirder doing that than to take the time to message you and ask them how old are they. And if the parents get you caught up in it, oh, then that whole family's just crazy. At that point, it ain't even your fault, because I'm all like, nah, them parents is just pimping out their child. So it's like, yeah, if it's like a situation where you're James Charles, you got millions of followers, and you're talking to somebody that nobody really know, and the parents, them parents is pimping their child, and they need to go and on the Dr. Phil show, or overall take their kid, get their kid taken away from them and stuff. But anyways, but no, if they're all like, oh yeah, no, my child is over the age of 18, I'm like, that I feel like that you definitely just won some cool points with the parents by doing that. That's one thing that I'm like, I definitely make sure to do, like, the next girl I get romantically. Well, if I know that she's over the age, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just, be cool when with the parents whenever. But I'm like, in a situation like that where you don't know, yeah, message the parents and see if you. I mean, that's if she's following. I know like not too many people do that unless they're like the D'Amelio sisters or something, and they could like got millions, like they just overall following their family just because. But yeah, it's if you can't do that, then do that. But other than that, what else can you do to make sure that? I mean, just ask the person. If they lied to you, then that's just messed up that they'll do that. But overall, like see if they could do things over the age, and if they can, then cool. But if not, then that something ain't right with this situation. But anyways, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, like, subscribe. And if you're viewing this on the podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. Check out one of my 31 YouTube channels. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch at TMossBoss. Like my page on Facebook, TMossBoss fan page. And in the meantime, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.